Girls actually did us a huge favor with the ick trend because as long as you don't take them too seriously, they're essentially a cheat sheet for maintaining attraction. You just need to know the 5 categories that they boil down to and how to separate the useful ones from the ones to just ignore. So that's what I'm going to teach you in this video. My name's Max. Welcome to Blueprint Attraction. All the icks in the world come from a woman's instinct to find a man that can protect, provide, lead, and influence, as well as produce healthy offspring. So there's basically 5 categories of things that make up a woman's attraction. We can call those caveman traits, and every ick that you see will apply to one or more of those traits. But don't worry, as I broke down in part 1, you can get away with a few icks and recover as long as there's some time in between. So my advice on this topic is 1, adapt to icks where possible, especially in the dating phase. 2, ignore absurd icks completely. And 3, never, under pain of death, try and explain or make excuses for why you just did that thing. That makes you look insecure and will do even more damage than the ick did in the first place. So here in part 2, I'm going to show you how to put that advice into practice. I've got a list of icks. I've had a quick look and there's a good mix of normal to completely insane ones. So I'm going to run through this list in real time and tell you what caveman trait the ick applies to, whether you should adapt or ignore, and if you should adapt, what I personally would do. Order a steak in a restaurant and then struggle to cut it. That's protect and potentially provide as well. Those two are very linked. You should be able to cut a steak. I imagine that maybe you got a bad knife. Otherwise, you've got some kind of serious issue. You need to get in the gym, like immediately. Only wears baseball caps backwards. So this shows immaturity. Women have cross-culturally a preference for men that are older than them because it's difficult to see yourself being led by someone that's younger than you. So this messes with the leadership instinct, but you don't actually have to be older than a woman for her to be attracted to you because you can prove your ability to lead in other ways. So I would say adapt on this one if you're over a certain age. Like a backwards cap really isn't going to look good on men over like 40, 50. So potentially adapt, but if you're young and it's just your style, then just ignore it. Always holiday in Spain. Ignore. Spain's the best place to holiday. Running for the bus. Okay, this is about providing and leading. I would adapt to this one. If you're not planning things well and you're having to run for the bus, that's going to come across when you're leading on dates. So try and practice planning things properly so that you don't have to run for things. Trip when walking. Protect and provide. I imagine you're trying not to trip over already, generally. So what more can we do than ignore that one? Business major, study whatever you want to study. I promise you, if you start a business and start making money, they'll change their tune on this one. Sunburnt, that shows that you're unable to take care of yourself. So yeah, you should wear sunscreen. I would adapt to that one just for your own health. Anything that makes you look less intelligent basically is going to clash with a woman's instinct to find a man that can provide and lead. Putting on chapstick. Okay, so putting on chapstick looks like putting on lipstick, which makes you look feminine. And some women will associate femininity with weakness, incompetence, poor ability to lead, things like that. But even if they don't, it messes with the produce healthy offspring instinct because we've evolved to reproduce with the opposite sex. So if you've ever experienced when a girl calls you bro or tries to fist bump you and your attraction for them just drops a little bit in that second, then you'll know how they feel on this one. Eat breakfast. Eat breakfast? You should ignore. Eat your breakfast. It's the most important meal of the day. That is ridiculous. Don't read, ignore, do what you want to do. As long as you've got other values to offer, it's not a problem. Knowing your exact weight. Knowing your exact weight has to do with being too concerned with your physical appearance. So that would be, insecurity is sort of in its own category of icks. As I explained in part 1, insecurity is sort of the king of all icks because rather than just being one little event that takes away from your attractiveness, it's more like your own perception of your attractiveness that's clashing with hers, and she will always take your word for how attractive you are as opposed to what she thinks after knowing you for a matter of days or weeks. Order diet versions of a drink. I don't even know what to make of that one. Femininity, I suppose, again. I promise you can drink multiple Diet Cokes and get away with it. Order a dessert. Same thing. I like to ask a girl if she'd like to share a dessert, and if she's not bothered about having dessert, then I would say, okay, let's finish up. Likes craft beers. Stupid, ignore, any dip in attraction that causes is going to be microscopic. Play the air guitar. Yeah, that one's pretty cringe. I guess that would be immaturity, which is ability to lead. So I'm going to say adapt as well to that one. Don't play air guitar on a date. Take pictures with their car. This potentially shows insecurity, like you're trying to sell yourself by using the car. So that's bad. I would say adapt by not doing this around women or in front of them. But studies have shown that if you have a nice car and you have a picture of yourself with that car on a dating profile, that will get more matches. So keep that in mind. Can't unhook a bra. Okay, that one's especially bad because it's about leadership in a sexual situation, and it implies that you don't have much experience and what's about to happen is not going to be very good. So definitely adapt to that one. I'm sure there are YouTube videos to show you. Once you get used to it, it's easier doing it with one hand than with two. Have feet that dangle out of the bottom of the bed. Ignore. That's just being tall, I think. I wish my feet dangled out of the bottom of the bed. Overstyle their hair. That's femininity again. But you can adapt to that by just not doing your hair in front of her. Fairly easy. Dance out of time to music. Protect and provide makes you look physically uncoordinated. You can adapt to that if you're interested in dance. I think most people can get much better than they think they can, and that's just their own beliefs holding them back. Talk about your ex. Okay, this is an interesting one because it's not actually about attraction. If you're talking about your ex, it could imply that you're still hung up on her, and so you might potentially cheat on this one with her, or it makes her feel less secure in the relationship. Attraction and a feeling of security are really two different things, but that's a video for another day. Rude to restaurant staff. This is a big turn off for me as well. If I see a girl being rude to people in general that are doing her no wrong, shows terrible things about your character. It shows either like cruelty or that you enjoy the power of being in charge of these people, which makes you actually look incredibly weak. Use a straw. I know why that one is, because I heard a girl say it's because it looks like you're doing something to a man. So I would adapt to that one. I would just, get your drink without a straw if you're on a date. Addicted to porn. Okay, this is one that you obviously should adapt to if you're having an issue. It comes down to providing and leading. It shows that you can't control your actions, and specifically your sexual actions, which makes her feel, once again, less secure in the relationship, as if you might cheat on her. Talk about family wealth. That could be bad for two reasons. If you're talking about your family wealth because you're trying to sell yourself with it, then that shows insecurity. If you're just naturally talking about your family wealth in a way that makes it sound like you've had an easy life, then that's going to potentially imply that you would be soft, that you would be unable to protect and provide. So I would say adapt to this one. If your family's rich, let it be a surprise. Being a DJ, ignore. That has to do with immaturity, leadership again, or potentially security in the relationship, because girls know that DJs get a lot of girls, which is another good reason to just disregard this one. Pays for an OnlyFans. Yeah, that is adapt. Don't do that. First of all, there's enough free porn online. But second of all, you're literally giving your resources to another woman. So that makes her feel super insecure, and it makes her lose a lot of respect for you because you're basically being taken for a fool by these women on OnlyFans. Use the menu on the chocolate box to pick a chocolate to eat. I would say it potentially makes you look like an incapable provider, because a good provider puts his energy where it matters, not into trivial things. If you're at a shop with a woman and you're like, say, picking between two soft drinks or something, and you're like thinking for ages, oh, which one do I want? The girl will quickly get like, oh my, just pick one. So in that case, I would say adapt, just pick one. It's better to be decisive in that moment and keep her attraction high than it is to get the strawberry over the banana. Don't swim. This is, you're incapable of doing something. That means you're less capable of providing, protecting. It all has to do with your capability, your power, and a lot of these are related. There's a lot of overlap between provide, protect, and lead. All right, that's enough. So as you can see, you can take notes from icks in some situations, but a lot of them should just be ignored, and worrying about them too much will be worse for attraction than any ick in the first place. So as a general rule, try to always be improving yourself and try to give a girl the best experience you can, but stick to your values and don't change who you are. If you do all of that, you should be fine. I hope this was helpful to someone. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed it. Have a good day, and I'll see you in the next one.